Janine Bolin here with the 4-hour-a-week system. And one of the things I wanted to share with you today is a process that took me anywhere from 15 to 20 years to build up and perfect to such a point that I can now say with total and complete certainty that if you work this system, this 4 hours a week system, you will double your income within a year, and you'll just keep doubling your income just doing these 4 hours every single week in your business. So let's get started with a little bit of background. I was originally trained as an analytical biochemist in the pharmaceutical industry, and I used to do what they called wet chemistry, or I was a bench chemist. And what I did was analyzed a lot of samples and different types of compounds to see what worked and what didn't work. And I spent anywhere from 55 to 75 hours a week doing this job. But I needed a side hack. I needed something to entertain me that got me out away from just a lot of test tubes and coworkers. I wanted to be more. I wanted to expand into more. And so I started the very first franchise I bought into was Mary Kay. This got me out talking to people that weren't scientists. And this made me really happy. I always had a side business that I was involved in. It was because of Mary Kay that I learned to have the business model that I do. I continued on for 15 years in analytical chemistry. I specialized in automation and robotics. It was a new burgeoning field that was coming out, and we were just getting good. We were moving from analog to digital systems. And so it was at this time that Windows made a big splash and we were no longer programming in Quick Basic. So that kind of lets you know the timeline. And now I am what they call a financial first responder. There was a 25-year jump in the timeline there, but I wanted to just let you know that I've always had a side business that I work on. Now I help people with debt-free living. That's my day job, but I also have a job on the side. I work really hard to make sure that I automate as many systems as possible, and I do that so that I have a very good work-life balance. So that is where I come from in that regard. So with all that training, one of the things that has come about for me is I wrote a little article for a friend of mine that was running a business builder workshop, and I titled the article, "Who's Your Boss?" That was in February of 2018. During that period of time, I was talking to them about how you use this 4-hour-a-week system to promote your business, but also how to bring in new clients, new prospects. And it comes from having an established calendar. The joke of the article is, who is your boss? When you're a solopreneur or a business owner, a lot of times they'll say, well, I'm the boss. And I jokingly say to people, no, your calendar needs to be your boss. There are certain things you need to be doing every week so that you can build your business and build your income. By having this sort of a plan and preparing this plan ahead of time, you can really just sit back and enjoy your business in ways you haven't been able to because of burnout, because you've been having to do so many things all at once. If you do this 4 hours a week, be assured your business will grow. It's called working on your business, not in your business. I never understood this. People would say this all the time. I heard it from Brian Tracy. I heard it from Earl Nightingale. These were the big salesmen. They were the $1 million salesmen in the 80s and 90s. But still, when they talked about working on your business, not in it, I had no idea what they were saying. A lot of the systems they used didn't work for me. And so I ended up having to create my own. I wanted to sit back and relax and enjoy my business. I wanted to be more social. I wanted to enjoy the aspect of being on in people's lives, helping them. So what we're going to do is talk about how to manage your calendar so that you can focus your light on the people that you care the most about. Families, friends, and clients who you know you can serve with whatever product or service that you are building or working on. So what are the 4 hours a week you need to focus on? 1 hour a week, you need to be doing nothing but prospecting. That is where you either pick up the phone or you text people for 1 straight hour. You do nothing during that period of time but talk to people, ask people how they're doing. The second hour a week that you're doing is you're following up on those conversations. If in your prospecting, you're on the phone talking to somebody, asking them how they're doing, how's their business, and they say, hey, I'd like to learn more. That is not the time you say it. You say, hey, let's have a follow-up phone call. How about that? I have time on XYZ day. How about we do that? That's where you put them, is in that hour of following up. Then you have an hour a week where you're closing. Now, this means different things to different businesses. What does it mean? It used to be in the 80s and 90s to close meant you closed the deal. You got money from your prospect and into your hands. It's a little different with relationship marketing that we are practicing now with women, helping women grow. This summit is all about building a relationship-based business. Even the summit itself, the way that everything that Savine has put together here, she is working very hard to make sure that people are using relationship marketing techniques. So the close looks different. For relationship marketers like ourselves, closing means making sure you never get off a phone call, you never get off of an email string, you never get off of messaging without setting up an appointment to follow up with that person. So to close means you make sure you constantly have another appointment with these individuals. The fourth hour a week that is paramount in your business is that you spend an hour training yourself. Now, what does that mean? It means different things for different people, but for prospecting, it means you spend an hour reading a book in your field. You spend an hour learning a software system. You spend an hour making sure that you know how to work all the interworkings of your website, if your website dependent on your business. Whatever it is, 1 hour a week, you must spend educating yourself and being better at whatever your industry is doing. That is incredibly important. Now, if you're in a multi-level marketing system of some kind, that training yourself, that hour is training your team. So if you are in Mary Kay, Arbonne, or Send Out Cards or what have you, you will need to train your team in that hour. So one of the case studies I wanted to talk to you about was Send Out Cards. Send Out Cards is the latest multi-level marketing system that I am affiliated with. And they have allowed me to take this 4-hour-a-week system and work with 68 of the affiliates of Send Out Cards. And one of the things that we have learned is that it's very important that you understand when it comes to prospecting and doing that hour a week where you're working with them is to assess where are you currently with the current contacts you have. Now, many people say, oh, when you get into multi-level marketing or your business, what you do is you reach out to your family and friends. I highly recommend, no, do not reach out to your family and friends. With the 4-hour-a-week system, you're going to reach out to Facebook, LinkedIn, and the contacts that you have on your phone. You're going to reach out to them and start working these warm leads. These are warm people. These are people who have reached out to you on social media to connect with you. So I started this case study in April of this year, and this is the numbers that I had. I had 1,160 friends on Facebook. I had 1,668 contacts in my phone. I had 1,400 connections on LinkedIn. By using the 4-hour-a-week system, in 90 days, I had increased my friends on Facebook. I had increased my contacts in my phone by 35, and I had connected with 31 new people on LinkedIn just by using this system that I'm going to teach you. Another thing that happened was I managed to get addresses of people. For Send Out Cards, you need to send cards to people using direct mail. And so one of the things that I do as part of my follow-up is I spend an hour a week sending people cards that I'm thinking about. And so in March, I started off with only 289 addresses. By that 90 days again, by the end of June, I had 377 people. By the end of July, 401. These are people that started off who only had connected with me on social media, and I have moved them out of social media, and I now have an address where I am direct mailing them pieces of mail for my business. This is high-tech, high-touch. You're taking the high-tech of social media, and you're now using the high-touch of sending them mail. Birthdays are excellent ways to connect with people because when they are on Facebook or LinkedIn, they'll let you know when people have a birthday, and you can sing happy birthday to them using the vocal microphone. And when I do that, I always say, hey, would you help a mom out? I'd like to send you a birthday card, but I don't have your address. So these are ways that you can prospect in only an hour a week. So let me wrap up. What are the 4 hours a week where you're going to work on your business, where the sole purpose is to connect with people and see how they are, to build the relationships that you want to have for your business? 1 hour a week is spent prospecting. You're on the phone, you're on Facebook, you're on LinkedIn, and you're talking to people, trying to get them onto a phone call or a Zoom link just to find out how they are. You're trying to move them off the social media and move them into a face-to-face interaction. You are not trying to sell them. You're trying to find out where they are in their life to see if your product or service can help them. And maybe, just maybe, your product or service, they're not ready for that yet, but someone in your network, like Women Helping Women Grow, someone in this summit may be able to help them. And so you refer them. So there are 2 women specifically that I'm thinking of, which is Growing Ageless with Sabrina Pochik. She's one of our speakers on this summit. And the other one happens to be Stacy, who's the menopausal coach, right? And she's the one that I refer a lot of women to her, mainly because I'm here to help them with their money. So that's what you do with that 1 hour. 1 hour you spend up following up, which is you go back to those people that maybe didn't respond to your, hey, how about we get on Zoom so that I can talk to you and find out what's going on with you? And that's what you do for that hour. 1 hour you're closing, meaning for anybody who you've talked to in the previous week and they haven't gotten back to you the way you wanted to, you reconnect with them. And then the 4th hour is you're training yourself. And if you're like a Mary Kay consultant, an Arbonne consultant, Longevity, Young Living, whatever of them, doTERRA, there's so many different ones, send out cards. If you're in the MLM, you're training your team, okay? So that is the 4 hours a week that will double your income. If you do this 4 hours every week, I guarantee you will have warm clients. You will be able to move forward with what you're doing. So I am Janine Boland, your financial first responder, and this is the 4 hours a week program that I have built and set up for folks like you who are solopreneurs. And I wanted to say thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share with you the most powerful the most powerful hours of your business for a week. And I now open it up for questions.